Disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Do not attempt this at home. Vitiated how-to will not be responsible because you decided to be a cheap ass and not hire a professional.
On with the show.
I'm not for sure how this falls into a how-to other than how not to get your iPhone deactivated by Apple. Oh man, Apple used to be the leading saying that they would mind their own business and stay out of your business. This new update, I think it's 16. I just seen it last night and I read through the terms and conditions through this one. And boy, talk about being in your business, man. Apple's worse than Microsoft now. They must have got paid off by somebody. That's all I can think of. But I'm going to summarize through it. It's a really long term of use. And you can go find it. But I'm just going to cherry pick different spots of the section that pertains to me and the things I like to do. And different other things. As you can tell through different other things, I like to upload crazy shit and what have you. But this affects everybody. And in that section, number 3, section E, it summarized that you can reproduce material using their software as long as it's non-copyrighted material in which you either own the material or you own the copyright to the material. And also goes on, I got the whole thing of it. This includes screenshots, video recordings, recording, reproducing, maps, newsletters, newspapers, recording your favorite bands, taking pictures of your favorite bands, and any other kind of live festival is also included in this. So, for all you people that like to go to festivals and concerts and take pictures and record, this involves you. And again, people say, oh, I don't care, this and that, this and, yeah. Next. Anything that is single, standalone, copyrighted, or intellectual properties that are protected by laws, property laws, and or treaties may be subject to term and use. So this pretty much means, you can read the whole thing for yourself, that for everybody that likes to save shit to their phone or screenshots from their phone off the internet or like to screen record a lot of different things. The videos that you see on there that you want to use to make your own little skits, so that way you can have the common use and it doesn't fall under the copyright. They're saying that you're not allowed to do it on their products, on Apple products, period. This includes the iPhone, iPad, iTunes. But many of you know, the last iTunes I was on, I can't remember, that you can make ringtones. I don't know about the new one. I haven't tried it in a really long time, so it probably can't now. So you have to find other ways to do that. The next section is, this is my personal favorite. There's more about copyright later, but right now that's further down because it's different sections about different things. Consent of data. This is where they don't mind their business anymore. And I'm going to read this word for word for this. Consent use of data. When you use your device, your phone number, and certain unique identifiers for your device are sent to Apple in order to allow others to reach you by your phone number when using various communication features of Apple software, such as iMessage, FaceTime, When you use iMessage, Apple may hold your messages encrypted for a limited period of time. You might as well just say they are going to hold, because obviously somebody caught them doing this already. Such messages as iMessage, FaceTime, and text message to ensure their delivery. Bullshit. But anyway, we'll go back to this one here. Then it goes, you may turn off your FaceTime and or iMessage by going to the settings and turn it off on your device. Certain features like analytic, location services, Siri, dictation may require information from your device to provide respective functions when you turn or use these devices. So anybody that knows anything about Microsoft and Bill Gates and his sellout ass, now we know that Apple is doing the same thing. So this pretty much means if you sell drugs, if you plan on doing anything, any kind of illegalness, don't use an iPhone. This is going to be a touchy subject, but the guys that took down the Trade Center had iPhones. And if you remember back then, if you were alive or old enough to remember what was going on, the government was trying to force Apple to turn over the data. And Apple said no, that their users' privacy was more important, that they apologized for what happened, that wasn't their fault, but that would be a direct violation of their terms and use and the Privacy Act law. Now, we'll fast forward to 2023, and you just heard what I just read. That's in section number 4. You can also, there's a lot more shit that I'm not even going to go over. You need to read it for yourself. That now they are violating our privacy for somebody. I'm curious who that somebody is. Is that the United States government? Is that the Chinese government? Is that the hidden government? They're selling out to somebody, selling your shit for sure. But we'll move on. Section 8. Back to the copyright, because it goes section 4, then it's got something, and then in number 4, it's section 8 in number 4. That I talked about uploading, or I talked about saving things. Now, the things that you save to your phone, that was copyrighted protected. In this, it says that you agree not to upload anything that's copyrighted to any services or places. You also consent to containing the proper content, information, and material that is owned by you or by our licensing, but it's limited and not copyrighted. Limited, including but not limited to copyrighted. You agree not to use such proprietary content, information, or materials other than permitted to use of the services in any manner inconsistent with the terms. This license or infringement of any intellectual property rights of a third party or Apple. No portion of this service may be made to be reproduced, any forms or anything modify or agree, rent, lease, own, sell, distribute, derived, or work based on any of the services. So, you can't upload anything that's copyrighted, because you will get in trouble. Now, let's go down a little bit. This is where they're getting into your business. You cannot use this service in any way they deem to their terms that is threatening, harassment, abuse, stalking, defaming, or otherwise violating the rights of any other person. They say party because that includes companies and everything else. So, if you call somebody an asshole, nowadays that's considered abuse. And that gives Apple the right to terminate your service on your cell phone, to where you no longer can use your cell phone for anything. That's called not minding your business. Now back with this, contains proprietary. I want to do this word for word. That you cannot use their service to transmit any virus, anything they deem is a virus, a worm, a Trojan horse, or any other malware that they think is malware, whatever it may be, or trespass or burdening a network's capacity. So anything that they deem to be that, they will boot you. Which I understand some things, but some things are just getting so out of hand, it's unreal. Now here's where it all sums up to where they tell you that they're going to terminate your ass. Termination. This license is effective until terminated. Your rights under this license will terminate automatically or otherwise cease to be effective without notice from Apple if you fail to comply with any terms of this license. Upon the termination of this license, you shall cease all use of Apple software. All Apple software. Under sections 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 13. You need to go read all those sections, because you're going to get an eye-opener of what's going on and the rights that are slowly being taken away from everybody because you guys are too busy worrying about all the distractions of the gender and the politics and the participation trophy and everything else that's going on, that you're being distracted from what's really going on in your life. And yeah, I've posted pictures of these in a few places, and a few people's like, oh, we don't care with this, and I was, yeah, you don't care now. But this is how it always starts. They get the little things. They're working on the cell phones. Look at California. They're working on the damn thermostats in people's houses to where they can remotely monitor them. You got a president that's trying to make it to where they can remotely control your car, to where if you don't pay it, you can shut it off, which I can understand that. But we all know what happens with something like that. It starts out small. The next thing you know, the government's, oh, you're doing something we don't like. Oh, you're on social media talking something you shouldn't say. We're going to disable your car. And that's how it's going to turn out. And yeah, I know what I'm about to say is kind of a far stretch to what's going on. But I tell you the fact of it, if you go get all his books and get all the material you can find on this asshole, you will see exactly what he did, how he did it, and he told the world he was going to do it. That was Adolf Hitler. He did exactly to all those people what the American government is trying to do to us. And yes, it sounds like a far fetch because he killed millions. I'm not going to get too much into the political of it. I'm going to get into the fact that he took everything away from everybody. He did worse than what China has done to supposedly their people, according to our media. But now we're living it, and you can see it every day, because out there you got the distraction, and in here you got people like me that's reading stuff like this and letting you people know, hey, you need to pay attention to what's going on in your life, because before you know it, what you thought you had that was an illusion will be a dictatorship that you really don't have a right. So you need to pay attention to everything you do. And if this is like this with Apple, it is probably like that with Samsung and all these other little things. There's the other one, Android. I was trying to remember what the other one is. So, I mean, you just really need to pay attention to your life and what's going on in it. Social media is becoming this way too. It's kind of about Apple, but social media is doing the exact same thing that I just read to you. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these other medias are doing the same thing that Apple is doing. But you know what? You don't see their terms of use. Apple's been the only one that's put it out to where you can see it. You have to literally go find it when you sign up for all the other social media. So you really need to pay attention to what's going on.